So former NFL cornerback Richard Sherman had his house broken into, and crazily enough, his family was inside the house when it happened. Then it's not looking great in regards to the Cowboys' talks with Micah Parsons unless Jerry Jones quits talking, and the Bengals seemingly disrespected Trey Hendrickson in regards to extension talks, and he responded about that today. So I've got to talk about that and so much more right after. Alright, with the new rule changes kind of dominating the news yesterday, a few other pieces of info flew a bit under the radar. First, we have a bit of a scary story that could have ended terribly, tragically, whatever word you want to put there, but thankfully was borderline best case scenario, all things considered. And that was former NFL cornerback Richard Sherman's house was broken into over the weekend and robbed by 3 gunmen while his wife and kids were at the house. As a father and husband, that is nightmare scenario, absolutely horrific stuff to even think about. Some of this was caught on his home security camera, and it was Sherman himself that posted these photos and footage to social media to spread awareness and see if anybody had any info that could help authorities locate and find, arrest, whoever did this. The good news here is that his wife, Ashley Moss, posted on Instagram after this saying she and the kids are physically okay. Sherman echoed that and asked for help on his X account saying, quote, "House being robbed at gunpoint with my family in it isn't what anyone wants for a birthday gift. Scary situation that my wife handled masterfully and kept my kids safe." Well, apparently these guys went through his neighbor's backyard to get into the house and exited his home with bags filled with items from inside. Not sure where the family was at the time of this or how they were all avoided. Not sure if they just hid what happened, but I'm glad they were able to stay safe. But the crazy thing about this is it looks like these guys have hit around 5 homes in the area, or at least around the area that Richard Sherman lives, with some commenting on his post that he took to social media to ask for help. That post, they took to his post sharing that these guys look like the same ones that hit their own house. This is in the Maple Valley area, just outside of Seattle, just in case you need to know where that is. So if you for some reason have any info on this, reach out to the police in the area, or at least spread the news for some additional awareness. At the end of the day, hopefully these guys get caught, because it's one thing to hit a home and rob it, but to do this while a mom and her kids were actually in the home is some next level insanity, and I'm definitely grateful that nobody got hurt. And then we got to get into some impressive contract news, because the 38-year-old veteran Calais Campbell just reunited with the Arizona Cardinals. They signed him to a 1-year, $5.5 million deal with a max value up to $7.5 million. That's a great deal for a guy that is almost 39 years old, and pretty insane that he's going to be playing in his 18th season in the NFL. The Cardinals actually drafted him in the 2nd round back in 2008, and he played there all the way until 2017 when he signed with the Jags. After 3 years with them, he bounced around a little bit, playing with the Ravens, Falcons, and most recently Dolphins before signing back with the team that drafted him. He's remained pretty durable recently too, playing all 17 games the last 2 years, and if you look at the last 3 years, he finished with 5 or more sacks in each one of them. Nothing crazy here, but not bad at all for his age, and he's going to be a nice rotational depth piece for the Cardinals on a 1-year deal. Now, a contract that is not going to be cheap at all is going to be Micah Parsons whenever that deal gets done. He's heading into the final year of his rookie contract and is eligible for an extension. Well, the Cowboys have reportedly been trying to make that happen this offseason. In fact, they've already offered him a contract that would make him the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. Jamar Chase currently holds that status at $40.25 million a year, and while we don't know the exact number that's on the table for Micah, it's obviously at least north of Jamar's. But here's where the story gets a bit crazy, and I guess when Jerry Jones is involved, you should probably expect it. But Jones spoke at the owners' meeting yesterday, revealing that he's been negotiating directly with Micah Parsons on an extension. He even said that Micah is one of 3 people that has his direct cell phone number. Now, negotiating directly with players isn't completely out of the ordinary. Jerry even said himself that he's had plenty of players over the years who prefer to talk to him directly, while others prefer to let their agent do all the talking. Basically, everybody's different. However, a line may have been crossed here when Jerry was asked about Micah's agent.
The agent is not a factor here, or something to worry about. And I don't know his name.
That's kind of crazy. In case you were wondering, that agent is David Mulhgetta, one of the most highly respected agents in the league. He's helped negotiate tons of star contracts, including Jordan Love's $55 million per year deal after just one season as a starter. He then got Deshaun Watson that insane, fully guaranteed $230 million deal, which is obviously the best contract any player has ever gotten. Browns got royally hosed, and then he even made Derek Stingley the highest paid cornerback in NFL history this offseason. What's even funnier is he actually negotiated Malik Hooker's 3-year extension with the Cowboys back in 2023. So either Jones is losing his memory or he's just blatantly disrespecting the agent of the player he's trying to get a deal done with. Probably not the smartest idea. What is smart, though, is that despite talking with Jerry directly, Micah still refuses to sign anything without his agent's involvement. He posted this to his X account in response to Jerry's comments, saying, "David is the best and I will not be doing any deal without him involved. There is no one I trust more when it comes to negotiating contracts. There will be no back doors in this contract negotiation." David Mulhgetta then told Mike Florio, quote, "I agree with Jerry. It's never been about me. The only person that matters here is Micah, and at the end of the day, our goal is for Micah to be able to do for generations of Parsons what Jerry has done for generations of Joneses." So yeah, that was a classy response that should de-escalate things a bit. You don't need to be best friends to iron out a deal anyway. I mean, we just saw something kind of similar with Myles Garrett and the Browns. He demanded a trade. The Browns denied it, and the owner wouldn't even meet him in person when he requested to. It looked a little ugly there for a bit, and then out of nowhere, he signed a massive extension, making $40 million per year to stay in Cleveland. Different circumstances for sure, but the point is, at the end of the day, money heals a lot of wounds, and I would be pretty shocked if a deal didn't get done here sooner rather than later. The Cowboys love to wait to get their deals done, by the way, but you shouldn't wait any longer for Micah Parsons, as his price is only going to skyrocket. And continuing with the trend of teams disrespecting their star players, we've got to talk about this weird quote from a Bengals executive about Trey Hendrickson, and then Trey's response to that quote today. Some context first. Trey Hendrickson is set to become a free agent after next season. His cap hit for 2025 is under $19 million, which makes him the 14th highest paid among all edge rushers, which is obviously way too low for a guy that just led the league in sacks last year and has recorded 13 or more sacks in 4 of his last 5. He is 30 years old, so getting up there, but this is his time to cash in on a big payday right now, and he definitely deserves it. With that said, he requested a trade for the second straight year, and this time, the Bengals granted him permission to seek one out. Well, since then, he paid both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and so it was hard to know if Trey Hendrickson would actually be staying around or not. Well, reports then came out saying the Bengals are making it a priority to retain all their top talent, including Trey Hendrickson, and that they don't want to trade him after all. Well, that's what made Katie Blackburn, the Bengals executive vice president's comments recently that she made, a bit strange here. She told the Cincinnati Enquirer that she thinks Trey should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at. She said that some of it is on him to stay happy at some point, and basically said that's what's holding everything up right now. Well, that's a pretty bold strategy, Cotton.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
After these comments, Trey took a chance to respond to this himself on the Pat McAfee show today. He said that he was disappointed in the comments because communication has been poor the last couple of months, adding that he's been frustrated because they haven't been communicating with his agent and basically haven't lived up to the things that they've promised him. He said it was communicated with him that they would get something done this year after he'd been asking for a longer-term contract with more guaranteed money for the last 3 years. He just wishes communication was better throughout, and even said being the highest paid isn't even what he is after. He just wants a long-term deal with more guarantees. So we'll see what ends up happening here with Trey Hendrickson, and if a deal gets done with the Bengals or he ends up getting traded somewhere, he could be like one of those potential draft day trades that you could see coming, but you're just not really sure. Either way, it's safe to say things don't seem very close between he and his representation and Cincinnati at the moment, especially if they haven't communicated with his agent much in the last couple of months. From the looks of it, per Katie Blackburn's angle, I think they've offered him something and he just wants more. For what it's worth, Katie Blackburn did say he's been a great player, we're happy to have him, and so maybe we'll find a way to get something to work. We're just going to see where it goes. So I'm not extremely confident at this point in time that a deal gets done, but what do you guys think? Will a deal actually get done with Trey Hendrickson or nah? And since we're talking potential contract extensions, there should be another one coming here very soon. That would be for Brock Purdy. He, like Trey Hendrickson, is heading into the final year of his current deal, although obviously Purdy is still on his rookie contract, and the 49ers have been in talks with him to get something done. Jed York, the owner of the 49ers, spoke to Mike Garafolo about a Purdy extension at the owners' meeting, and here's what he had to say.
We knew that we had to make sacrifices around the roster to make sure that you can pay a quarterback, right? Like, it's just math.
Yeah, the 49ers were living high on the hog when they had Brock under the cheapest starting quarterback deal in the league, but since they now have to pay him, that's exactly why they've lost so many key players in free agency or via trades. Deebo Samuel, Charvarius Ward, Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Javon Hargrave, Aaron Banks, Jalen Moore, Jordan Mason, and that's just to name a few. That's the difference between having a quarterback on a rookie deal and then having to pay a guy top of the market money, or at least close to it. It can obviously be done, but it makes certain things much more complex. Take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs, for example. They're paying Mahomes top of the market money, Travis Kelce, highest paid tight end, Creed Humphrey, highest paid center, Harrison Butker, highest paid kicker, Trey Smith is right now the highest paid guard, Chris Jones, highest paid defensive tackle, and then Nick Bolton is a top 5 paid linebacker, but they have a lot of guys on rookie deals. They have to keep drafting well, and the free agents they do bring in and sign have to be on pretty creative, cost-effective deals. Brock Purdy's contract is even more of a unique case, though, compared to really anybody, because his salary is extremely low due to him being drafted the last overall pick of his draft class. Check this out. His cap hit in 2022 was $724,000, $889,000 in 2023, and last year it was just over $1 million. Well, that's insane for a starting quarterback. I mean, there was nothing the team could really do about it until now. You can't extend a player until after their 3rd season in the league, but Purdy has produced very well for his draft selection, to say the least. The Niners owner, again, Jed York, actually talked about the absurdity of it and pointed out that Purdy would have been the 30th highest paid college quarterback last season because of how much guys are making with the NIL now, which is absolutely insane to think about. There's no denying what he's meant to his team. And like I said earlier, he was literally the last pick in the 2022 NFL draft. So the ceiling for him was likely a career backup at best, but he absolutely overcame those odds and crushed them, knocked them out of the park. Whatever you want to say it, Brock Purdy has done that. After Jimmy Garoppolo broke his foot in week 13 of Brock Purdy's rookie year, he came in, replaced him, and led the team to 7 straight wins, including the playoffs, before he suffered that elbow injury in the NFC Championship game. Then in 2023, in his first year as the full-time starter, he threw for over 4,200 yards and 31 touchdowns, leading them to the Super Bowl, where they did lose to the Chiefs in overtime. Last year was obviously a train wreck from top to bottom, as all their best players were dropping like flies due to injury every week. But bad season or not last year, Brock Purdy absolutely deserves a pretty big payday. The question is, how much money is he actually about to get paid? Dan Graziano thinks Purdy will make around $55 million per year, top 5-ish QB money, while Spotrac's projection has him near $60 million, $59.7 million to be exact, which would have him right behind Dak Prescott, who is the highest paid player in NFL history at this point in time. Jed York said that contract talks have been good and, quote, he's got to make a decision with what he wants to do. I don't think we're that far apart. I think we can sit down and get something done whenever he's ready. We're ready. So they've definitely offered him something. I bet it's on the lower end, maybe close to 45. He's probably going to want closer to that 55, 60 range. Where will they actually meet is the question. It's also worth noting that Purdy doesn't actually have to sit down and get a contract done. He has, I guess, a little bit of leverage. He could play out the last year of his deal, and if he balls out, I'm sure many teams would love to have him as their QB next year, and he could aim to cash in next year instead of this year. The only thing is, the 49ers probably have more leverage. They can hit him with the franchise tag next year if they want to. The tag for quarterbacks in 2024 is $40.2 million. Probably will be a little higher next year. So he would instantly be rich, and San Francisco would have yet another shot to get a long-term deal done with him. Or you could look at like a tag and trade option like we thought might happen with Sam Darnold this offseason. Either way, it's safe to say it's a complex situation, though I think both sides would win here if they get something done this offseason. He's clearly a fit for the 49ers. They play well with him in the system. He has surpassed all the odds and is definitely deserving of a pretty big payday. But let me know your thoughts on this situation. Will a deal ultimately get done this year? And if so, what do you think his APY, his average per year, will end up being? Let me know either way in the comments down below. And with that, I'll see y'all next time.